Hello, my name is Braxton Nesmith, and I'm here with Mr. Christian Martin, Craven County Schools beginning Teacher of the Year for 2024 through 2025. Mr. Martin is my ELA teacher and social studies teacher. This year, I have a few questions for you. Throughout your education, was there any teacher that shaped your experience or made you want to become an educator?
Thank you, Braxton. Yes, there have been a couple of teachers who have helped kind of shape my career and where I am today. I think one teacher in particular would probably be Mrs. Wallace. She was one of my high school teachers. She actually taught Teacher Cadet, which was a course for people who might be interested in teaching. And so I had the opportunity to go into different schools, including elementary and middle, where I kind of fell in love with teaching middle school. And so her passion, though, has kind of shaped me and made me more passionate about the profession. I think just seeing her energy and enthusiasm every single day, not only inside of the classroom, but her advocacy outside of the classroom as well, kind of inspired me and pushed me to where I am today. So I really appreciate Mrs. Wallace and all that she continues to do for education, especially here in North Carolina.
Okay, what is the biggest lesson that you've learned while teaching?
Biggest lesson. So I think it being my second year, one of the most important lessons would probably be that it's okay to be wrong. I think that teaching is a constant um, opportunity to reflect. It's a profession that requires you to reflect not only in like teaching and your practice, but just learning and being comfortable or willing to learn. And so that's just something you have to kind of become familiar with if you're not used to being told, do this, do that. Of course, you have teachers growing up and professors in college, but just being open to kind of crafting and perfecting your profession or your career is one of the things that I think I've learned throughout this experience so far. So, yeah,
What do you feel is the most rewarding part of teaching?
most rewarding part of teaching. Well, there are a lot of things that are rewarding about teaching, but definitely it's going to be the growth that I see in my students. And so, it being my second year, it's just amazing. Even now, obviously, I'm teaching you all, and I've seen growth from August to December, not only in terms of like academics and your reading and writing, but just seeing how you all have grown in your maturity. I think is really cool to see. Also, thinking about students from last year, I might be out in a grocery store and I'll say, "Hey, I see a student," and they come up and speak and they kind of fill me in on how things are going, or they send emails to kind of just check in and talk about like how high school is going so far. I think that is really cool just to be able to know, like, hey, maybe I had like just a small, I played a small role in this person and what they're doing now. And so definitely it's rewarding just to see your students grow and continue to grow in what they do.
So, do you think there's like a challenging part about teaching?
Challenging part, I would say yes. I think everything has its challenges. It's like being a student can be challenging, right? But definitely teaching, um, there are so many different responsibilities and hats that you have to wear. You also have to constantly kind of be on. So even if you may not be feeling 100%, you still want to show up and give your all. Um, that's what you signed up to do. And I think that it can be challenging sometimes. Also, I would say just making sure that you're trying to meet the needs of every single student. Um, that's our job, right? But you got to understand that can be difficult at times. So just making sure that you are in a position where you're comfortable with challenges and challenges that may be presented. So yeah.
If you weren't teaching, what other career would you have chosen?
Ooh, that's a good one. Um, what other career? I really, growing up, loved animals. Still do. I have had a bird, cat, and currently dog, birds, rabbits, frogs, a lot of fish. And I even have fish now in the classroom that y'all joke about me cleaning the water. But I would say I would definitely do something animal related. I think that would be fun just to constantly be doing something like you're still passionate about. And so outside of like teaching, I do have a love for animals. So I don't know what that career would be. I don't want to be necessarily like a vet because that's a lot of responsibility, but maybe wildlife, something wildlife focused.
So, what advice would you give to the beginning teachers or students who may be considering teaching as a career?
Okay. So for beginning teachers, I would say um, it goes back to it's okay not to be right 100% of the time. You're not going to get everything right. And it's a learning curve for sure. Especially first year, you're just learning so many different things, even going from student teaching to in the classroom. There are just so many new things that you see and look at differently. And so for new teachers, beginning teachers, such as myself, again, I tell myself all the time, it's okay, you're still learning. But taking those lessons and then not just staying there, learning from them. And so that looks like, hey, maybe I didn't do this right yesterday. So the next time I do this, here's how I'll do it differently. So again, that reflection piece. I would also say enjoy every moment because it goes by quick. Like you're an eighth grader, you're almost going to be in ninth grade before you know it. Like if you think about it, January will be here after break, and then we have the rest of these few months. And so just enjoying it because it goes by quick. And so appreciating the students while you have them in your room. And I think that's one of the things I would say. So enjoying the moment, reflection, and being open to being wrong and then learning from that. For new people or considering going into teaching, I would probably say um, it's definitely a profession where they're needed. We need teachers. We also want to make sure that we have people that are passionate about the profession. So I think the passion piece, if you're passionate about teaching, then there's classrooms probably waiting for you to come in and just be that advocate for the students. So I guess I would say for people that are considering teaching, if you're passionate about it, right, then definitely pursue it. Definitely needed, especially when we think about um, the students that we serve in our community, right? We want to see teachers come in and help support the students that we have, especially here in Craven County.
Okay. So, when students leave your class, are there any lessons that you hope they would have learned?
Outside of the ELA and social studies lessons, I would hope they have learned one, just the value of education. It's a privilege to have access to education. I also would say I think one of the other lessons is just knowing that they always have an advocate, somebody that's rooting for them. Always extremely proud of everything that my students do, and so I want them to know, or at least take away that they should always feel supported. They have somebody in the classroom who is even though you're not technically my student after you leave the building, you're still always my student at heart. And so I try to emphasize that in the classroom, make sure my students know they feel supported and valued. And those are one of the things or some of the things that I hope the students take away.
Okay. Well, that's all I got for today.
All right, Braxton, well, I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.